Hey there, welcome back. I'm Ramsey Dean, a licensed clinical social worker. Today, we're going to talk about mindfulness for beginners. We'll cover what mindfulness really means, clear up some common misconceptions, and look at the science behind it. I'll also share a few practical tips that you can easily incorporate into your daily routine to start seeing the benefits. Let's get started. So what is mindfulness? Simply put, mindfulness is the practice of paying full attention to the present moment, noticing your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. It's about being aware and fully engaged in whatever you're doing right now. Mindfulness is just being in the present moment. That's it. Now, this sounds straightforward, and it is, but what does this actually look like in practice? A common misconception about mindfulness is that it has to be an intense practice. I feel like people think of Buddhist monks meditating all day in Zen sanctuaries. While that is one form of mindfulness, for the average person, that's not attainable and not necessary to get the mental health benefits. For someone like you or me, mindfulness could look like focusing on the taste, texture, and smell of the food while we're eating, savoring each bite. It could look like when we're walking, we pay attention to the feeling of our feet touching the ground, the sounds around us, and the sights we see. If we're feeling stressed, we take a moment to notice our breath, feeling it go in and out, and let go of other distractions. It's about fully experiencing what you're doing right now, rather than being caught up in thoughts about the past or the future. But mindfulness isn't just about our surroundings, it's also about what's going on inside of us, and this is where it can be really powerful for our emotional well-being. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're at work and you receive an email that makes you really frustrated and stressed. Instead of immediately reacting or letting these feelings take over, you decide to practice mindfulness. This might look like, at first, you take a moment to notice the physical sensations in your body. Maybe your heart is racing, maybe your shoulders are tense, and maybe your stomach feels tight. Instead of ignoring these sensations, you acknowledge them. You might take a few minutes to take a few deep breaths, feel the air go in and out. Next, you might pay attention to your thoughts. You might notice that you're thinking, this is so unfair, or I'm never going to get this done. Instead of judging those thoughts or trying to push them away, you simply notice them. You might even name them, saying to yourself, oh, there's frustration, or there's worry. Then you turn your focus to your feelings. Maybe you recognize that you're feeling stressed and frustrated. Rather than trying to change those feelings or judging yourself for having them, you just let yourself feel them. You might think, it's okay to feel frustrated right now. By acknowledging your thoughts and feelings without judgment, you're practicing mindfulness. This gives you a moment of clarity and space. Instead of reacting impulsively to the email, you can respond more thoughtfully. Maybe you decide to take a short break, go for a walk, or just breathe deeply for a few minutes to calm down. This pause allows you to handle the situation with more composure and less reactivity. Over time, the more you practice mindfulness like this, it can help you manage stress better and improve your overall emotional well-being. The science behind mindfulness shows that it has a big impact on emotional health. When you practice mindfulness, you're training your brain to focus on the present moment, which can help reduce stress and anxiety. Research has shown that mindfulness can actually change the structure and function of the brain. For instance, it can increase the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, which helps with decision-making, attention, and emotion regulation. It also reduces the size of the amygdala, which is involved in the stress response. One reason mindfulness is so effective for emotional health is that it helps break the cycle of rumination. Rumination is when you keep thinking about the same negative thoughts over and over on a loop, which can make you feel even more stressed, anxious, or depressed. Rumination might look like, for example, if you had a disagreement with a friend, you might keep replaying the conversation in your head over and over again, worrying about what you said and nitpicking the whole interaction apart. Mindfulness helps you focus on the present moment, so instead of getting stuck in that loop, you can notice the thought, acknowledge it, and then let it go. This helps you see your thoughts and feelings as temporary experiences rather than getting overwhelmed by them. Mindfulness also promotes self-awareness and self-compassion. When you're mindful, you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings without judging them. For instance, if you're feeling upset about a mistake you made at work, mindfulness helps you recognize that feeling without beating yourself up about it. Instead of thinking, I'm so stupid for making that mistake, you might think, I'm feeling upset because I made a mistake, but it's okay to make mistakes sometimes. This shift in perspective allows you to approach your experiences with kindness and understanding, leading to greater emotional resilience and overall well-being. By practicing mindfulness regularly, you can improve your ability to manage stress, reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, and enhance your overall emotional health. The benefits are backed by a lot of research, and it can make a real difference in how you handle life's ups and downs. Now that we've covered what mindfulness is and the science behind it, let's talk about 3 things that mindfulness is not. But first, if you're finding this video helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. It really helps get my videos in front of more people, and it ensures you won't miss any of my future uploads. Thank you so much for your support. First, mindfulness is not about having a completely quiet mind. People might think in order to practice mindfulness, you have to be free of any thoughts or distractions. But in reality, it's normal for your mind to wander. The key to mindfulness is to gently bring your focus back to the present moment whenever you notice your mind has drifted. It's not about eliminating distractions, but rather learning to acknowledge them and return your attention to the here and now. Second, mindfulness is not always easy. Many believe that they should instantly feel calm and focused when practicing mindfulness. But the truth is, mindfulness is like training a muscle. It takes time and consistent effort. At first, it can be challenging and even frustrating, but with regular practice, it becomes more natural and effective. It's perfectly normal to find it difficult in the beginning. Often when I start introducing my clients to mindfulness and we practice it together, they get frustrated and complain that their mind keeps wandering. But I see your mind wandering as a good thing. Let's say, for example, you decide to practice mindfulness for 5 minutes and your mind wanders 500 times in those 5 minutes. I see that as 500 opportunities for you to practice gently bringing your mind back to the present moment. Every time you do this, that is mindfulness. You're making that muscle stronger. When you're just starting out with mindfulness, it's all about the process, not necessarily about feeling good in the moment. Third, mindfulness isn't about avoiding emotions or trying to feel a certain way. It's about accepting whatever you're experiencing without judgment. For example, imagine you're feeling anxious about a big presentation. Instead of trying to push the anxiety away or telling yourself you shouldn't feel that way, you acknowledge the anxiety as it is. You might notice the butterflies in your stomach and the racing thoughts, and you let yourself feel them without labeling them as good or bad. You also avoid spiraling by not ruminating over every possible way you could mess up the presentation or embarrass yourself. You'll still probably feel anxious, but you won't add extra unnecessary anxiety on top of it. Remember, emotions themselves aren't inherently positive or negative, even if they feel that way. They're simply experiences that come and go. By accepting them without judgment, you can reduce their intensity, but you can't ultimately avoid unpleasant emotions. That's just a part of life. If you're interested in starting a mindfulness practice but don't know where to begin, here are 2 simple ways to seamlessly integrate mindfulness into your daily life. These methods require minimal time and effort, and you can start them immediately without disrupting your routine. First, you could try mindful listening. This means fully focusing on what the other person is saying during a conversation without planning your response or without letting your mind wander. Pay attention to their words, tone, and body language. This practice not only helps you be more present, but also enhances your communication skills and your relationships. You can do this anytime you're talking with someone, whether at work, with friends, or with family. Second, incorporate mindfulness into your routine activities like brushing your teeth or washing dishes. Instead of letting your mind drift, focus on the sensations and actions involved. For example, notice the feel of the toothbrush against your teeth or the warmth of the water and the texture of the soap as you wash dishes. By paying attention to these everyday tasks, you bring mindfulness into your daily routine without needing to set aside special time. Now, consistency is key when it comes to mindfulness. To strengthen your mindfulness practice, aim to practice every day. Over time, these exercises will become easier and feel like second nature, becoming a natural part of your routine. As you progress, you might choose to incorporate additional practices like meditation or mindful movement such as yoga. The most important thing at the beginning is to choose activities that you can commit to doing every day. If you want to dedicate a few extra minutes each day to support your mindfulness practice, consider keeping a mindfulness journal. Spend a few minutes each day writing about your experiences with mindfulness, any challenges you faced, and any positive changes you've noticed. Reflecting on your practice can deepen your understanding and help you stay motivated. All right, let's quickly recap what you've just learned. We've covered what mindfulness is, what it isn't, and the science behind it. We've also explored practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into your daily life and how it can significantly improve your emotional well-being. Remember, mindfulness is a practice that takes time and patience. It's about being in the present moment, whether you're eating, walking, or dealing with a stressful situation. By acknowledging your thoughts and feelings without judgment, you can create a sense of clarity and calm in your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.